Hello and welcome. It is your boy LOZA. We're here to talk about Dark Magician, combo, wombo stuff all over again. Hell yeah. I need to address a couple of things before we get into it. There was a monkey in the comments yesterday, a couple of monkeys on my videos saying that terraforming is bad. I don't want to play 3 of the field spell because past turn 1 it's dead, and this just helps thin the deck a little more, so it's a little bit better than playing 3 in my opinion. So basically, they said, I'm not going to test with this hand, lol. Basically, they said that terraforming plays into Droll and Ash. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards there and put terraforming at the top. And look at this crazy hand. This hand is amazing for Dark Magician. Obviously, this gets the ritual and this pops off and whatnot. So they said on terraforming, your opponent can Ash or Droll you. All right, let's analyze that scenario because this is a really dumb scenario they put forward. If someone ashes your terraforming, that is so dumb. That means my magician's rod is resolving. That means my prep is resolving, adding me a ritual monster, which then adds souls or anything I want. You don't ash terraforming. No one who has a brain will ash terraforming. I don't know what locals you play at or what casual friends you clearly play with. No one is going to ash terraforming, okay? It's like the whole Alistair Meltdown thing. You would never ash Alistair or Meltdown because they're just going to have the other card. It's so stupid. Um, so please don't listen to those comments. I tried replying to them and saying like it's fine, but they literally wrote me an essay. I wanted to address it at the start of the video, get it out of the way. Please do not listen to them. Play terraforming, it's fine, or play 3 of the field spell. I don't care. Just don't listen to their reasoning. They also mentioned it can play into Droll. Listen, buddy. The whole deck plays into Droll. Yeah, I could get Drolled on terraforming, but I was gonna get Drolled on Rod. I was gonna get Drolled on Prep. It doesn't matter. If they have Droll, they have Droll, and they're gonna use it. This deck is just a Droll deck, alright? So that's just how it be. Now that that is out of the way, Jesus, I can't believe I have to elaborate on that. It's kind of sad, right? Now that that's out of the way, this is more or less the list I'm going to use for a lot of the combos. Don't take it as the list you must play. I just thought this is kind of how it's going to be. Please play 3 prep. Sorry, please play 3 Illusion of Chaos. It's freaking crazy. I prefer 2 Dark Magician. I am playing the Red Eyes package. I will elaborate on all of these choices later. So keep watching, please. We got a couple of spicy texts down here. I'm playing the access code Hulk stuff because I think it's a lot better than the new fusion. A lot of people like the new fusion for pop on the board. I think this is just a safer way to go. It's more generic. You can do it off literally Effect Veiler and Souls going into Hulk. You can do it off Ready Fusion. Sorry, where is it? Ready Fusion and Instant Fusion. Just with Rod. Like you can do it with anything essentially. So let's get into some of the videos, shall we? Some of the replays. So this is the new standard I have for you here. I'm going to talk about this a lot. I've actually got a little paint. I love my paint docs. I've got my little paint doc prepped. So a lot of people have talked about how Illusion of Chaos is a great way to search all the other monsters in the deck. I'm just going to elaborate on that and give you a visual so you can kind of get it in your head. I know I'm a bit of a visual learner. If you open Magician Souls and Prep or Illusion of Chaos, cool, you obviously add Rod. If you open Rod and Illusion or Prep, you obviously add Souls. That's how it is, right? We always want to get these 2 cards together. If you've already got both of them and you open Prep and Illusion, you can grab yourself an extender, 1 Timaeus or an Apprentice, whichever is more appropriate. This is why I'm only playing 1 Timaeus and 1 Apprentice, because you have 7 copies of them, right? You have 3 Prep and 3 Illusion that can search this or this. That's 7 copies. That means we have 9 copies of Rod and 9 copies of Soul, because you play 3 Prep, 3 Illusion, and 3 of them, right? Please play 3 and 3 and 3. It is just correct. 3 Prep, 3 Illusion, 3 Souls, 3 Rod. It's the way going forward. I see a lot of deck lists just not playing the 3 Prep, and their reasoning is like, oh, I'm not playing my ritual build. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, no one cares about adding a ritual spell back off Prep. You just want to search this. That's all you care about. Anyway, that's another chat for another time. The standard Dark Magician combo, I want to say as of current day cards, or not current day cards, the cards we know about, is going to always be Rod Souls plus Soul Servant or the Field Spell. Doesn't matter which one, because Rod is clearly going to add you the other one. You just need to open one of them, and we're playing 6 copies. Sorry, we're only playing... Oh, we're kind of playing 6 copies of each. You've got 3 and 2 in Terraforming, and Rod also can add it, so... You know, there's copies of it there. These cards, obviously, we have 9 of, so that's really good. So let's look at our ending board. Our ending board should always from these 3 cards be Dragoon, Circle, Eternal Soul, and 2 draws. You can cut out the Circle for an extra draw, but I think it's worth. I think the extra draw is nice. Like, I like to greed for it, but I think confirming Circle's a little bit more important for our style of play. A lot of people have been like in the comments, or not a lot, some people have been like, oh, 3-card combo, yeah, but look, it's Dark Magician. It's Dark Magician. We've never had decent-ish combos. We've always had cards that need to rely on other cards to function. That's how the deck's always been. It's been slow, it's been clunky, but we're getting some clarity. We have a literal ritual card, which for some reason is Rhoda. That sounds horrible, but the fact that we can search our Rhoda is just crazy. So while these are 3-card combos and I'm using specific cards like this, just remember, we have so many ways to them. We have 9 ways to our main monsters now, and that's absolutely amazing. That's all I asked for in Dark Magician support. I'm very happy. So let's move on. There's an extra card here. That should not be here. That is from a miscalculation. So there should only be 2 cards in the hand. Anaconda, Dragoon, and whatnot. Well, you could have the 3rd one if you did the thing I said where you cut out Circle, but we're not going to do that, okay? We're not going to cut out Circle. So let's let it play. I'll talk about it as it goes through, but you're going to send your Dark Magician girl, because obviously you want 2 draws off Soul Servant later. We're going to set Eternal Soul. We're going to send that field spell for a draw. Rod is going to grab us the other card, which is Soul Servant in this case. We also drew an Ash Blossom. That's pretty nice. We're going to make Dragoon, and then it's time to grab Circle. We're going to stack it, and then we're going to draw an extra card. The extra card we draw here is an effect veiler that's absolutely nuts. So, I forgot to play the Circle, but obviously you'd play the Circle, and maybe it would net you a cut. But what's important here is we've pretty much gone -1. And I mean, we got a negate on board, so that's pretty damn good. And obviously on the opponent's turn, you could flip your Eternal Soul and do that junk, summon Dark Magician, tribute it, add Rod back. That's pretty damn cool, right? Well, let's get into the second one, which is more or less the same, so I'll just brush through it really quick. It's just opening the Soul Servant instead of the field spell to show how flexible this combo is. This combo can be done with 2 cards we're playing at 3, and 2 monsters we're playing at 9, so it's pretty damn good. We've drawn Retort Fusion this time, which is a great extender. We're not going to use it this turn, but hey, it's cool to draw. And here's us confirming Circle once again. We played Circle, and we've actually managed to find Dark Magician off it this time. So this time we've actually refreshed our hand back to the 3 cards it started with. How nuts is that? Obviously, the Circle got lucky, and please don't rely on this card to add you... to add cards to your hand. This card is terrible. That's why I play it at 1. It never resolves. It literally just makes the Dark Magician have an effect. That's its purpose. I play 1. You can play more. I wouldn't play more than 2 though, and that's my final take on that. So yeah, let's move on before I get some haters. Let's move on quick. All right, we're gonna talk about new cards. Here's what people like. Timaeus, right? Everyone loves Timaeus. Haha, I have Timaeus. Please do not play I have Timaeus. Anyway, the new Timaeus, please play it at least 1. You could play 0, you could play 1, you could play more than 1, but I would say please don't do that. And the main reason being, a lot of people are saying Timaeus replaces the need for the Red Eyes engine. And I'm here today to tell you that is completely wrong, and this is a perfect example. Now, obviously, you can search Timaeus off the Ritual card and whatnot, which is great, but that's why I think like the Ritual card's going to search you Souls or Rod as well. So in this case, we've opened up just Rod and just Timaeus. 2 monsters in most decks get you Dragoon, right? let's see how that goes for no Anaconda or Red Eyes cards Timaeus, alright? It's interesting. So we summon Timaeus from the field spell getting attributed, and we finish turn on this piece of shit. This card is not very good. Plus, we have an Eternal Soul that can't activate, meaning we can't get the Rod back. And I mean, it's just bad, and that's what happens if you don't play the Anaconda stuff and the Red Eye stuff. I'm afraid you're incorrect. We want to ensure that 2 monsters gets us Dragoon every game. I'm sorry, but you can call that Dragoon Turbo, but that's just reality, baby. It's our boss monster. Turbo to it or not, it's our fucking boss monster. Please play it. I don't care if you think it's degenerate. I don't care if you think it's broken. You should be using it. It's a Dark Magician card. Just fucking play it, man. Anyway, enough of me rambling about ref.deck. we're going to do the exact same combo, but with Red Eyes Fusion cards. And you're going to see what I mean. Same opening hand, Timaeus and Rod, and just 3 cards that don't help. Maybe Hand Traps, maybe Skill Drains, who knows, Solemn Judgments and whatnot. But look, we actually made it to Dragoon. But not only that, our Eternal Soul is live. We can summon Dark Magician, and guess what? That means we had Rod back, and we start the cycle again. We can now actually play on the next turn. We have Recursion, and we have a fucking Negate. Well, it's not the best board possible. Yugioh and Dark Magician in general are all about doing the best you can from the minimum amount of resources. And sometimes you're not going to open all those resources. Sometimes you won't see your souls. Sometimes you won't see the ritual, even though we play a billion fucking copies. And even when we just open Rod and Timaeus, the fact that we can still get here is nice, okay? The rest of the hand could be trash, it could be hand traps, it could be bricks. So that is pretty cool. Like, yeah, that's not the greatest board, but if that's what you can do, it's better than fucking passing, right? Or it's better than making that other shithead fusion card that was really bad. Anyway, let's get into opening Timaeus with Souls or Rod. Because Timaeus, of course, is an extender. Alright, here we go. Soul's gonna be bringing out DM so that we can do some fusey-woozy. We're gonna be playing that field spell, you know how it be. Distributing it for Mr. Timaeus. Mr. Timaeus is going to make Dragoon, and we're going to make Artemis with the Rod. So this is once again under the interpretation that you do not play the Red Eyes Fusion garbage. You're like, nope, I don't play that, I play Pure. So if you're a Pure player, you can see that you've got Eternal Soul for DM, and you can then add your Rod back by attributing Artemis. Please play Artemis, by the way. People who don't play Artemis are very silly. The reason we play Artemis is so when you just open Rod, you can link it into, you can search Soul Servant and you can just set Soul Servant and link into Artemis. And maybe I need a whole video to explain that because people clearly don't know what Artemis does for this deck, and it's kind of worrying. But anyway, I'm gonna assume most people know because you're big brains, right? Not monkeys, I swear. Anyway, a bit off track there on an Artemis rant, but yeah, you can see that this is actually pretty good. Like Timaeus with Souls and Rod can actually play and make Dragoon without Red Eyes cards. It's actually impressive. And that's why I say Timaeus isn't a bad card. Don't get me wrong. I just think the Red Eyes stuff helps to make everything more consistent. So anyway, I'm not trying to shit on Timaeus. Timaeus is good. You can see that from this board state. We did use 3 cards to get here, but it's fine. We've got Eternal, we've got Rod and whatnot to come back. Like, it's not bad at all, right? I'm not shitting on it. It's cool. This is a slightly different version, and this is using the Red Eyes cards, but it's interesting because it's not necessarily better, not necessarily worse. You could probably argue for either. I'm just going to let it go through. Field Spell is going to obviously grab Eternal, and Timaeus will come out from the Field Spell. We're going to make Dark Magician the Dragonite here, Link away for Anaconda, and then we're going to do your Summon Dragoon. Now, if you're not playing the Red Eye stuff, obviously you can't do this, and you might be thinking, why would you want to do this? This doesn't have Artemis. This doesn't have the Rod able to come back. Well, it still does. You could still go Eternal Soul, sending Dark Magician. Summoning Dark Magician on a new chain, Rod tributed, blah, blah, blah. But this is kind of assuming that you opened up with a lot of good back row. Let's say you opened up with Summon Limit. Let's say you opened up with Goes in Match. Let's say you opened up with something cool like that, right? Or it doesn't have to be a Floodgate. It could just be Solemn Judgment. It could just be Cosmic Cyclones, to be honest. Any back row that you open and you've set, and now you want to protect along with your Eternal Soul, even if you have Circle as well, of course, you can now summon Dark Magician, the Dragonite was summoned properly. It can be summoned off Eternal Soul. So you could trigger your Circle if you had it. In this example, we do not. And that's pretty bad to not have it with 3 cards, but that's how it is. And that's also going to protect all your back row. So if your opponent goes Lightning Storm and whatnot, obviously you have Dragoon, but you also have a cheeky little Eternal Soul to summon the Dark Magician Dragonite. Is that always going to be the play? No, and that's great. You don't have to do this. I'm just saying it's another option. So consider that. It's pretty cool. Obviously, you could have just gone to Timaeus and Dark Magician into Dragoon, and then made Rod into Artemis, and passed. Let's say your hand was just hand traps, like Ashen, Effect Veiler, and Nibiru, whatnot. You could just do that instead, because it's a little bit safer, and you kind of get a little more recursion that way. I feel like this board, while you get Dark Magician the Dragonite out, you don't want to tribute your Dragoon for Rod. Dark Magician the Dragonite is a dragon, unfortunately. I really wish it was a spellcaster, but that's how it is. That's how Konami be, baby. Anyway, Next is, we're gonna look at some Ready Fusion stuff. Now, I did make Ready Fusion combos in a whole nother video, but I've updated them for all the new cards. So here's what I've come up with now. Let's just pause it real quick to explain the thought process here. We played our Retort Fusion and our Soul Sending DMG, and we've made them into Hulk. The reason for doing this in this order is because we haven't normal summoned yet. And whenever you make a Hulk play, you're making a Nibiru play, right? You can always get Nibiru if you're going to do Hulk stuff. That's just how it be, Yugs. So we're one summon away from being Nibiru'd. And if we do get Nibiru'd, we play Link Spider, right? Everyone plays Link Spider in DM. You should be. I don't think it was in this list, but that's because I'm taking cards in and out for like testing. So ignore that. Play Link Spider. We would always Link Spider the token, normal summon the rod, grab any card, link away, Dragoon. Boom. And we'd probably add Soul Servant because we sent Dark Magician Girl. So then if Anaconda resolves, we get a nice draw 2 off the Soul Servant. If it doesn't resolve, we can still set stack a card and draw. So that's pretty good too. So anyway, I'm going to let this combo play out. I just wanted to point out that yes, this combo has a choke point for Nibiru. And yes, you can play around that. Can this combo play around Droll? Probably not. Can this combo play around Ash? Probably not. But hopefully you got extenders and whatnot to play around them. And remember, you always got to take into account some hand traps, but you don't have to tunnel vision on them as well. Most meta decks can't play around Droll, so you know, just relax. It's not just a Dark Magician problem. It's every deck that likes to search. All right, so we're gonna make Artemis here and make Anaconda. Now that Artemis looked like you didn't need to make it, but just wait. That Artemis was hot. I'm telling you. Another reason to play Artemis too, fellas. Trust me. So here we are at the field spell. So we actually stacked it off Soul Servant, and of course it's grabbed us Eternal Soul. We also drew an Ash Blossom because we drew 2 cards. One of them, of course, being the stacked card. We're passing there, which doesn't look like the best board, right? Like, while we do have the we've got the Rod in the grave, right? Yeah, Rod's there. Dark Magician's there for the Eternal Soul. Bring back Tribute Rod. Blah blah blah. We got a little more planned. We got a bit of stuff planned here. We didn't get rid of the field spell. You'll notice a lot of my combos, I get rid of the field spell for Magician Souls to get a free draw. And that's fine. I'm not saying you do that all the time. This is an example of a time where you wouldn't use the Souls draw on this. Because you got a cheeky little play to make with it. So we're going to tag out Hulk for the little tuner that's about to come out. And we're going to Eternal Soul Dark Magician. Now, I'm pretty sure this should have missed timing because it's a when effect to draw one and we chain something, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe I missed something there. But essentially, you should do them on completely separate interactions just to avoid getting chain blocked. Chain blocked by your own fucking cards. You really want the draw off this. It's a free draw. So you just want to be chaining Hulk during their main phase. I believe that's the only condition. Yeah, the opponent's main phase or battle phase. So you're just going to do this to draw one. Great, we drew a freaking amazing card. Obviously, it's not our turn, but on the next turn, this gets us anything from Rod to Souls to Apprentice to Timaeus, so that's great. But here's where stuff gets kind of crazy. We're going to start making Synchro plays. But first, we triggered our field spell, the card that I say will never resolve the second effect. Here it is resolving. So we've summoned Dark Magician Girl off the field spell targeting Dark Magician. That's pretty damn cool. Now we're going to tribute Dark Magician, I believe, to activate Rod, and we're going to chain our little tuner to sync Dark Magician Girl into the Borreload Savage and equip the Artemis. Yeah, there's the Artemis. She came in clutch. She did well. While it's 1 negate and we're only powered up by 400, it doesn't really matter. It's a negate. So we've got 2 negates here. We drew a card, and we added Rod back. Like, I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty damn nice. So yeah, I really just like these Synchro plays with Ready Fusion. They're really cute. Here's another one. Once again, it's kind of from my other video, but I'm expanding upon it with the new support. So let's take a look, shall we? We're doing all the stock standard stuff. We're grabbing the field spell because it's pretty damn nice. We're sending it to draw a card. We're activating the fusion. We're now going to make Hulk. A little bit of different order to the last video, but that's okay. We can summon Ash Blossom. We could also summon Effect Veiler. It doesn't really matter. We're going to slap out the Dragoon, of course. In this video, you'll notice we didn't send Dark Magician Girl, we didn't keep the field spell, and that's because we're going to summon back Dark Magician here, and we're going to Synchro it to make a Shen. So we're making a more Floodgatey kind of board here. So that could necessarily be better, it could be worse, it's just matchup dependent. And the fact that you didn't have to change any cards in your hand to do that, we went into both plays with the same cards. So you can pick your play based on like in game 2 or game 3 when you're like, oh, I know this deck, like this deck loses to Shen Shen, they need their cards not banished. Great, you make Shen Shen, you go have fun, dickhead. Like, yeah, he could have imperm, he could have the droplets, but you're forcing him to play around something, and he's not going to expect you as a Dark Magician player to flop out a fucking Shen Shen unless you did it in game 1. He's not going to expect that. So that's pretty damn good. Not to mention the Borrowed Savage is very nice just as a generic play, especially if you did the Borrowed Savage first, and then in game 2 or 3 you bring out the Shen Shen. He'll be like, what the fuck? You could blow some minds. So I really like Ready Fusion, especially because you can play 1 instant fusion and like 1 to 2 Ready Fusion, and you've kind of got like, cards that actually work. So this is meant to be the same hand. Ignore the Red Eyes Fusion. It's kind of the same hand, right? But we're going to be playing second, and I'm just going to show you how these 3 cards can make an easy access code, essentially. It's not that special, it's just access code. Playing around a couple of negates, so we play Ref. A lot of people ask me why I play a lot of Ref, and this is kind of the reason. You can play Ref to bait them to negate, because you have to negate Ref. If you get ashed on it, obviously it's absolutely trash, and your turn is over. But sometimes you have to take that coin flip, and like the chance of them having an ash is the same chance of you having a Ref if you play 3, and most people play 3 ash. So it's actually a pretty worthwhile gamble considering they have to kind of force a negate or Dragoon's just going to come out and ruin their fucking day. Also, we have the call by here, which it doesn't happen, but when it does, you can always safely go for this Ref unless they have the Ash and the Ghost Bell, and that's not going to be all the time, so it's kind of fine. Anyway, let's let this play out. So Ref has come down. They have negated it because obviously they don't want the Dragoons to crash and they lose their Dragoon. They still have a call by the grave set. That's going to come up later. We made Relinquish Anima there, which seemed pointless, but, it's access code fodder. And here we are linking. Now, just before we see this, I thought that they could call by the grave here and target whatever I target with Celine. Celine doesn't target. She just says, during the main phase, quick effect. So that's the cost. Your cost is saying, I'm using the effect. You don't even remove counters for the cost. You say, I'm using the effect to summon. And your opponent can chain Call by the Grave and like maybe target Dark Magician Girl because they know like you're going to get draws off it. And that's the best thing they could do in that scenario. So I didn't even chain the card. I just left the card, alright? So don't be like, oh, you didn't play around the call by. Like, there's no reason to play around the call by. Access code's going to pop the call by. It doesn't really matter. What's important here is access code outs the Dragoon. And we've only really used... we've used a lot of cards in our hand, but that's because we had to play around negates. So we baited negates, and now we're here, and we still haven't normal summoned, which is the best part. We can normal summon now. Guess what? It's Anaconda time, baby. You could keep the access code, and that's fine too. You can just link it to Artemis. I just wanted to show you the most kind of aggressive play that gets you more draws and like more engine. Look, we're just setting up the engine for next turn, and I think that's really crazy. Like, it's probably safer to just go Rod Artemis and kind of leave the big boy access code on the field, especially if they're playing Dark Magician, and they probably won't be able to come back from having a couple of cards. But here, I wanted to show off. I wanted to go greedy. I'm gonna show you the greedy plays because these are the kind of things you want to aim for or know when it's safe to do so. They are the game-winning plays kind of thing. So while they're not necessarily safe, they are a lot funner to do as well. So you can see we really just have board control here, and we just didn't let our opponent play. Anyway, I really like those 3 cards, as you can see. Sorry, Ready Fusion, Souls, and Rod, very good. Please try them out. They're great. We're going to talk about some safe 2-card plays, because 3-card plays are bad. Magician's Rod and Souls, as I've said for like 1,000 times, are kind of the bread and butter of the deck to start any combo. And if you do not have anything, like the rest of your hand's hand traps, for example, or just non-engine cards, here's what I think is the standard play as well. You're just going to send Dark Magician. You're going to play it safe. You're going to send Dark Magician off Souls. You're not going to send DMG because we're probably not going to get that far in the game. And here we are just making our Dragoon. We did draw a card off sending the field spell. We're going to try to make our Dragoon. And like that's all we can really do. Like, it's still fine. I know it's just Dragoon turbo kind of stuff. Like 2 cards equals Dragoon. Haha, XD. But the fact of the matter is, we played around the fact that Anaconda might get negated. If Anaconda gets negated, if it gets Gamut, Imperm, Veiled, we still had a DM engraved, so we could at least on the opponent's turn, the bare minimum of what we can do with those 2 cards is freaking summon Dark Magician off Eternal Soul, and then chain Rod Effect Engrave to tribute to add. The bare minimum. So imagine this got negated, there's no Dragoon, we could flip this, grab Rod off DM. Absolutely amazing. We love to see it. We love to see that recursion. We also drew into an effect Vela. That's cool, but we were assuming that the rest of our hand was kind of non-engine anyway. But that's, once again, kind of fine. But yeah, that's what I think is kind of the bare bones of the deck. We have to know what to do when we just don't open enough cards to make cool plays, and that seems like a pretty safe play to make. Here's Allure of Darkness. Now, I really do think we should be playing this now. I'm going to show you why. So, Prep. Prep is a very good card, as I've said. Play 3. Allure, you can play any number of it. It seems like it's going to be pretty good, so I'm considering playing 3. For now, I'm just testing it out, and I'll show you why I think it's really nice. Obviously, people have played Allure in this deck before, but you can activate your Illusion of Chaos effect, stack it to the top, and then you can just Allure knowing you're always going to hit a dark. So you can blindly Allure, essentially. It's not that blind, but you get what I mean. Then we can just go through pretty much stock standard Dark Magician plays, right? Just gonna ram some Timaeus out here, make some Dragon Knights, make some Anacondas, and do all the cool shit. But you know, that's just some thoughts on what Allure can kind of help us do, especially because we're playing 3 of a ritual monster that the ritual monster's once per turn, but the spell prep to search it is not. So you can always just keep grabbing more copies, which means Allure's kind of never going to be dead in this deck, which is really nice. Here's just Souls and Retort Fusion, kind of making a bare minimum play. Now, some people in the chat, not in the chat, in the Dark Magician Discord, were asking, I meant to hit pause, were asking, how do we make like, why is Retort Fusion good for Dark Magician? Like, they're like, why are people making videos on it? Like myself, a couple other YouTubers were as well. And here's why we think. Obviously, it's a free extender and every deck can play it. But it's cool for Dark Magician because we can summon this dude, who can summon Artemis, who can then let us make Anaconda. This is not an effect monster, right? So you can't make Anaconda with it. And you think, well, cool, just play Link Spider or Imdok and just make them with it. You can't. Fusion vanilla monsters don't count as effect or vanilla monster. They're neither. And I didn't know that till this card, Ready Fusion, came out. So now that I know that, you have to play this level 4 Spellcaster Fusion that's trash to link into Artemis. Another reason to play Artemis, by the way. To then finally make Anaconda. And yes, this is not a good play. Once again, talking about what we do when our backs against the wall and we're just making the bare minimum play with the trash hand we have. All right, thank you for sitting through all the boring combos. Let's get to the spice, baby. I got a 5-card play out. A lot of people are like, yo, I just want to see you go ham. Oh, that's the wrong card. Wrong free play. A lot of people are like, I just want to see you go ham with the new cards. Check out this hand. This hand's cracked. I did set this up, but I just wanted to have some fun. We've got everything we could ever dream of. Let's just go. Damn, we do be sending DMG. Grabbing that circle. Yeah, we're just kind of partying at this point, bro. We're just slapping cards all over. I'm not even going to explain this. This is just me having fun. Like, you don't really need to analyze this. Analyze this part where it's way more fun. We have 6 cards in the hand. We have 6 cards in the hand. 2 of them being hand traps. 3 of them being hand traps, sorry. This means access code can't beat over this ever. Once we've done 1 negate, unless it's been droplets, we can always just negate, gain 1,000, and Apprentice Illusion Magician to boost up to 6k during the damage step, meaning, guess what, fellas? Access code doesn't out our deck, baby, let's go! So, yeah, we're going to negate some cards here. And look, the cool part about this video is look who we're versing. We're versing the same hand. Pause, goddammit. We're versing the same hand, the same deck. So you know how I was talking about playing through negates? We can play through negates now. This is the same fucking hand that we have. Get ready for it to pop off. It's going to play through a banish. It's going to play through a negate. It's going to play through effect Veiler. Guys, please, this deck is... I'm not saying it's tier 1. I hate that shit. Fuck that shit. I'm saying this deck is so much more playable, so much more consistent. Please, if you're a Dark Magician fan, please give the new stuff a try. It is honestly so relieving. It's like a breath of fresh air from bricking all the time. Honestly, it is so pleasant. So as you can see, he didn't quite make it to access code. So he tried. Look, I tried, but he didn't make it. So Apprentice swung into this, and we just dropped the Apprentice in damage step, just to show off that, look, when we're not going to die to access code, it's really funny. We've obviously got the Rod ad back with Eternal Soul Summoning DM and all that jazz. Like, there's just so much going on here, while it's just very stock standard Dark Magician stuff. But we love to see it. Alright, those who've stuck around till the end, I got a meme replay for y'all. Let's say it's game 3. You're in time, and you're like stressed, and you're like, fuck, how am I gonna beat this Sky Striker deck, for example, who can always just net plus 100 and win in time? Or even just a combo deck, even an OTK deck, any deck that you fear, and you go, how am I going to win? Dark Magician so trash. I break. Bottom text. I have developed a very troll and meme strat. Now, please don't play this in a real tournament, but it's really fucking funny if you do. This hand looks like you've lost, right? If you open this hand and you said I'm playing first, and then it's game 3 and it's time, basically, you're like, fuck, I've lost. That's it. It's game over. I've lost, baby. Well, GG, man. It was a fun game, but yep, I've bricked. Sorry, man. It was fun though. It was a good set. I enjoyed it. Yo, your deck's really cool. I really like your Ojama ABC deck. Jokes! Gain 1,000, baby! GG, we just won in time. What the fuck is this? Magic formula. Yeah, magic formula. Did I fucking stutter? Magic fucking formula. Play one of this in your side if you're a fucking Giga Chad. Why? You can fucking search it. We searched it off Soul Servant. You can also search it off Magician's Rod. And then all you have to do is either have a Dark Magician you can equip it to and then link that Dark Magician away. Or Dark Magician Girl, of course. Or you set it on the field and Souls will send it to draw. And this card is a if not when effect. If this card's sent to the graveyard, gain 1,000, baby. Gain 1,000. We have a win in time. We have a Gaga Cowboy. Gaga Cowboy. But C4G in the chat, Cowboy for game in Dark Magician. It's in the main deck though, it's pretty shit. But it's funny as fuck. Anyway, thanks for sticking it out. Thanks for viewing my dumbass meme. And thanks for looking at my epic paint docs that are clearly a reflection of my artistic integrity, right? Anyway, thanks guys. See ya.